Hi and welcome to another gaming video, and today I'm joined by my two older sons who are keen PC gamers, whereas these days I'm a console gamer, and in this video we're going to discuss PC, that's Windows gaming, versus console gaming. And I haven't always been a console gamer. Back in the mid-90s I was building PCs and using them for games when the likes of 256 meg of RAM was a lot, Righteous made add-on 3D cards, and Windows 95 was the OS of choice. Quake 2, Sin, Soldier of Fortune were king of first-person shooters, and the likes of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, the original one, and Pod were go-to racing games. But then I jumped ship. I bought a Sega Saturn from a friend, absolutely loved it. Bought a Sega Dreamcast, then a Nintendo GameCube, and so many more consoles after that. And today, consoles are my chosen way of playing games. My sons, on the other hand, started off on consoles such as like a Sega Mega Drive, PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, PS3, and now switched. They are strong PC gamers. But both PC and console gaming has changed since I started over 30 years ago. PCs were expensive, they were hard to configure, they were plagued with problems, and you needed to be a nerd really to use them, especially for gaming. The late 90s saw the rise of powerful consoles that were easier to use. Sony came along with its PlayStation and took the gaming world by storm. But as consoles got more complicated, they started having operating systems, storefronts with digital downloads, hard drives, massive system and game updates. PCs, on the other hand, they got easier, especially for gaming. PCs in general became more reliable and slicker to use. So, a bit of background here. I use a Nintendo Switch for gaming with my laptop for a little bit of emulation. So your PC is a 4th gen i5 with an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060 and 16 gig of RAM. You've recently upped yours, so you've got a 14th gen i5 PC with an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5070 and 48 gig of RAM.
5070 Ti, which has 16 gig of...
Well, more beef.
Yeah, a lot more beef.
Just to add in there, my laptop is a Dell Latitude 7490 with an 8th gen i5 processor, an integrated Intel UHD graphics 620 and 16 gig of RAM. So still a fairly decent piece of kit with the graphics card kind of letting us down, but it's a business laptop. So the purpose of this video is for them to try and convince me that PC gaming is better than console gaming. So let's get down to the Q&As. So how long have you pair been PC gaming? You bought your first PC, which was the laptop, wasn't it?
I think so. It was
so. You
it
bought
was an Asus ROG.
It was an Asus ROG, yeah, Strix. Which you bought for sort of creative purposes.
Yeah, I bought it for college.
But it was actually technically a gaming PC, gaming laptop. Pretty decent spec.
How long have I been out of college now?
A while.
A while.
I mean, I've been out of college for 2 years now.
So that's at least 4 out of college.
Yeah.
I would say you've had about 5. You've been
5,
PC gaming about 5 years. And you?
So I technically have 2 answers.
Okay.
So the first answer is March 2023.
Okay, so a couple of years.
Only a few years. My other answer is a lot longer before.
Why?
Because I used to play a game called Unturned on my laptop. Way back when. Because I always wanted to PC game, but never had the money to.
Okay, so
probably about 10 years, technically.
what about, so dedicated, it's been a couple of years.
Oh, yeah, main, gaming devices, it's been a
Dedicated,
couple of
it's
years.
been about 6.
Right. Okay. So we move on to the next question.
Yeah.
Why did you switch from consoles to PC gaming? See, I did the opposite.
You went from PC to console.
Yeah, but then I did it such a long time ago when PCs were a pain to keep going, and consoles were just slap it in, off you go.
Whereas it's sort of shifted a little bit.
It has, yeah.
They're on sort of almost level playing fields.
I really get annoyed with modern gaming. If you've been watching my channel, you'll know I rant about that quite a bit. The whole updates and you want to just switch on a console. The whole purpose of a games console is you just switch it on and play, but that's not how it is these days. So why did you switch from consoles to PC gaming then?
I don't have a solid answer, I don't think. I think it's mainly just...
You kind of progress, because you've still got your PS4 sitting up there, which you haven't touched in about a year.
I use it as a glorified DVD player at this point.
Oh, you have a decent answer to this question?
And you have an Xbox, which you haven't touched in about a year.
Oh, no. 2 years.
Right.
Since I bought my first PC, I haven't touched my Xbox.
What made you go, I've got some consoles sitting there, but I want to do this on a PC?
Well, personally, it's a wider range of games.
There is that.
So many more games. Unbelievable. So, one of the things that I got very annoyed at with my console, whichever one I had at the time, which was a multitude at once, just limited me on the games I wanted to play. So I'm a very survival-based, open-world, crafting sort of gamer.
Okay.
So the thing with that is, on console it's very limited because you only have a set amount of buttons. You can't use all the complex things that some of the survival games need on PC, and they couldn't manage to get it over. So things like Oxygen Not Included, for instance, a colony building survival game, you had to have all the buttons to actually play it, so you can't get it on a console because it just wouldn't run. You'd have to plug a keyboard into it, and then you're pretty much just PC gaming anyway.
Okay, what about you? Why did you switch? You're going to go down the modding route.
Yeah.
Mods. Yeah.
I was going to say...
Also,
you play a game on a console, and it's pretty much straight.
It's just what you have.
Yeah.
Whereas with a PC, currently I'm modding Minecraft to the absolute nines.
I get that. I mean, even back when I was running around doing Quake 2 multiplayer, playing as Homer Simpson, because
you can just mod it.
You can do it. You can mod it. Yeah.
You just can, so you do. Because sometimes it just adds a bit extra to the game. So simpler games that might not interest you in the beginning might have a bit more depth to them if you added mods to them. So you might find that you actually enjoy playing it with mods more than you do
Does it extend the life of the game as well?
Yes, so much more. Things like Terraria. Terraria is a big one. If you played Terraria and you've used any mods, you know the biggest mod in it is Calamity, and it adds so much more. And so much more. Like,
I've only ever played Terraria on the Vita or the Switch, and you're just stuck with what you've got there. Same with Minecraft on a console. It's pretty much...
Yeah, that's a little bit wishy-washy, because Bedrock does have...
It does have some things like...
dedicated servers, which do have almost like plugins.
Yeah, they add things.
But
that's running off a server rather than off your console.
Okay.
It's a little less, I want to play this, let's see if we can find a mod pack for it.
And
let's just plug it and play.
Also a little less reliable, purely because you are connecting to an external server, and it then has to run every plugin off the server onto your PC, onto your console, and then return it back to the server. Otherwise, it's just going to completely crash out, and you're just going to be left with a brick.
Okay, so you went because you wanted more variety of games.
More variety of games.
And better controls.
And a beefier system, because after a while the systems didn't keep up with the games that were being brought out, which is why a lot of the time they bring the same games out on the new gen consoles, because they can actually handle them.
Yeah.
Whereas an Xbox One, after a while, I noticed that some of the games just didn't run very well. I wouldn't have been able to play Black Ops 6 on it. It would have absolutely kaputskied.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen
there is
Black
like
Ops
a soft cap
run on the PS4, and it's awful.
They bring out the next one,
Siege,
which then tops it up.
Siege is another one. With the new update of Siege X, it just doesn't run very well. It max caps at like 30 FPS, and for an FPS game, not very good, because there's going to be people who are playing PC, because it is now cross-platform, that are running it at 999, which is max cap for Siege.
Okay, and you moved over because you want to do more into the game itself, mod it, etc.
Mod it.
I also do enjoy the modding side of it. I've moved completely away from controller. Like, I thought I'd hate playing on a PC purely because of the mouse and keyboard. I've gotten so used to it, I don't even touch it.
The only thing that I will switch to a controller for are driving games or racing games.
I do the same, only because you have the adjustable throttle.
Yeah.
And you have less buttons.
Yeah, you have
say,
less to.
on a
Not-
driving game.
Not even that. It is literally just throttle control. If I could throttle control a W
button,
key,
yeah.
I would. I wouldn't even touch it.
So you've briefly touched on it, so let's move on to the next question. So what games do you play on your PC?
Things like Oxygen Not Included, 7 Days to Die, but I mod it like a lot. For the whole reason that I bought my new PC was because my old one couldn't handle anything I was trying to do. It would crash after about an hour of playing anything, and I was like, do you know what? I can't deal with this, and I just bought a new one. So that was easy, and now I'll just upgrade and add bits. So there's that. Minecraft, a lot of the time, I'm modding that as well.
Play a lot of Siege still.
I still play a lot of Siege, but my PC can actually handle it again.
What about you? What games do you play on your PC?
Well, Minecraft, Terraria are two of my biggest ones that I always come back to.
Terraria also.
No matter what I'm in, if I'm feeling like it, I'll just put it on. Whether it's modded, vanilla, whatever.
And you mentioned racing games. You've got into them recently, haven't you?
Yeah, I have been. I've been playing Need for Speed Heat, I think.
Heat, yeah.
They're really not my style of games, personally. I'm more of a survival or FPS.
FPS, yes, but survival,
I like
Can't.
survival, open world sort of style games. I get on with them
No.
very well.
Don't Starve.
Oh, I can thrash anyone.
I've
with
seen
Don't
you
Starve
play Don't
challenge.
Starve.
It's horrible. I just don't see the point. I mean, I played my other son. He's got Grounded and Grounded 2, and he was really excited by it. And I just don't get the whole wandering around, picking up things, using them, crafting them, making them, making an axe and going to chop a tree down. How dull is that?
A lot of the time, they do actually have objectives and
I'm sure they
story
do, but
that you have to progress yourself to get to the point where you can actually manage to do the missions.
that's
Skyrim is
Yeah,
another
but
big
that's
one.
too slow paced for me.
Yeah, but you say that, but you play Doom, and if you just had the pistol, you'd die at every hurdle.
You don't.
Yeah, but that's my point. You are progressing through a game.
Yeah, but Doom just starts off as fast and shiny and
Yeah, but you progress through a game, getting better stuff. The only difference with a survival game is you have to make a lot of it rather than finding a lot of it.
yeah.
You can find things
You
in
can.
survival
I
games.
mean, all games progress. You get better weapons, car power ups, or new cars. Yeah, all games have a sort of kind of progression thing, but just survival games just bore the hell out of me. So we move on to the next question.
Sure,
Yeah.
How do PC prices compare to consoles? Now, this is a bit of a stickler because if you go back when I was doing it, you'd be paying £900 20 odd years ago for a PC that could play games versus like £300 for a console. It was a no-brainer.
Prices now of new consoles
Are insane.
extortionate. You might as well buy a PC.
500 quid for a Switch 2, 750 quid for a PS5 Pro. I know, and I don't know whether it's to do with global economy at the minute, but Switch prices, Xbox prices, and PlayStation prices have increased in the last few months.
Absolutely skyrocketed.
They have, yeah.
And the thing with PC prices nowadays, I bought my first PC second hand, and I spent about £150 on the original device, and then spent £50 upgrading it, and it lasted me for 2 years.
Okay.
So
And
if you
mine
take that
was-
into
Yours was about that.
consideration,
Mine was about that as well.
comparing that to the new price of Xboxes, which are pretty much glorified PCs with controllers, it genuinely makes more sense. Even if you then have to spend 250 quid more to get a better PC, it's going to last you longer than the console is, and it's going to perform better than the console is. And
That
you
is-
can do more.
That is a big opinion there.
It's going to last
PC,
longer.
the way I look at PCs is you buy a PC, it can run some games, but you're going to get to a point where it can't run those games. Well, it depends. I mean, if you buy a budget PC, that time is going to be quicker than if you buy a
But
massively expensive one.
Like the one I bought now, it's going to last ages.
But a console will play everything
No,
that it can.
no, it doesn't.
If it's
Not all
designed
the
for
time.
that console, it will play it.
Not all the time.
Well, it will.
Well, when you get to the end of that generation of console,
They struggle.
They
yes.
struggle a lot, and you can't do anything about it. You just have to wait for the next one and buy the next one straight out. Whereas with a PC, you can upgrade bits in it on its own.
So it's incremental rather than
just bam, bam.
bam, bam. I mean, I've talked in previous videos about when they went from the PlayStation 3 to the 4. You know about this because we had Wolfenstein New Order on both.
Yeah,
and the 3, it handled it, but in high intensity areas, it dropped to like 10, 15 frames per second. It really did struggle. The textures were dulled down a bit. Back when we were then talking about Black Ops 6 on the PlayStation 4, looks absolutely diabolical and plays badly because it's pushing that system past what it can do. Move it to a newer system. I mean, they bring it out on both purely, I think, to prove that, well, PS4 can't do it, so you need to buy a PS5.
Okay.
And yeah, okay, so there are some games that are put on a system that push its limits, and then you have to jump ship to the next console.
But that's my point. You then have to reinstall everything that you had. Like, literally everything, and that could be, like, days' worth of installing.
And sometimes rebuy them.
And sometimes rebuy. Whereas PC, if I need to upgrade my GPU, I pull the GPU out. You then put an upgraded one that works with your motherboard, which you can just find a list online. It's not difficult to do. You plug it in, make sure it's connected properly, turn the thing back on, done. And even if you spend 300 quid on a new GPU, you've then upgraded your machine and possibly making making it last another 5-6 years, because that could have been the bottleneck.
It's a constant chase with PCs versus console. Consoles in general, apart from when we're talking about end of thingy games, you buy a console, you buy a game, you know it's going to work on it.
Yes.
With a PC, it's a little less. I mean, you could go out. I mean, we'll take yours for example because yours is older. There ain't much that isn't going to run on his, but you're still running on like a 4th gen Haswell chip. You could go and buy a new game and then go, ugh, this doesn't run, or I'm stuck at it's like 20 frames per second.
The new Doom game.
Dark Ages.
Dark Ages struggles on my system.
Right. We talked about the devices themselves, the systems, but what about prices of the games themselves? How do they compare? Because there's been a big hoo-ha about Switch 2 games coming in at 70, 75 quid. Do you get the same high-priced games on a PC?
There are a couple, like the big name brands.
Obviously, you're going to get the big name brands that just like set their price across all
Are they fairly
things.
comparable?
They can be.
They can be, but at the same time, PCs, especially Steam,
have always got a sale on something.
So you literally just wishlist it, and
I do that with my Switch.
Yeah, but in like 2 months, it's more than likely going to have been on sale, purely because they just try to shift things.
Let's take this about new games then. So I went recently into a toy shop and they had huge selection of PS5 games, Switch 2 games. I didn't think the PS5 games were too badly priced. Obviously, it varies. You get some budget games that come out even for brand new systems, but the main titles like things like Mario Kart World and the new Donkey Kong Bonanza, I think it's called, absolutely insane prices, 70 odd quid.
It depends on the game.
Right.
It does, and depends on.
So you can end up with high price. I mean, we've got GTA 6 coming out supposedly next year. They reckon that's going to hit a £90, £100 price tag.
I'm not buying that. That's a complete waste of money if anyone.
There is a little thing. I think they're splitting it into 2 buys.
Into different, like a standard and a premium.
Not even that. I think they're doing it so that it's story mode. You can buy it.
And online.
And then the online side.
Okay.
Which is a rip-off, in my opinion, personally.
So in general, prices across PCs and consoles are roughly the same price-wise for new games?
Nope.
Why?
They
just said that.
They don't always put
roughly.
No, not even that. Sometimes they are cheaper on PC. Sometimes they are cheaper on console. It just
depends.
You recently bought Dark Ages, did you not?
Who owns it?
Yes.
Realistically.
That was a 60 quid game at full price?
It was.
Okay.
I didn't buy it at full price.
Well, you use discount sites.
We wait.
I just waited.
A lot of the time we just wait for sales because
I think it had something like a 25% discount on it.
Within how long of coming out? Week or two after release, wasn't it?
It's about a month, I think.
But even waiting a month,
You waited a month and
For
it dropped about
25% off.
25%.
That's
You got
because it was
£15
it
off.
was day one on the Game Pass, so everything, all the sales tanked.
Yeah, I read about that. Yeah, they're
So they went, all right, we'll discount it. See how many people buy it.
get more people to actually physically buy it.
Yeah,
Okay,
so they
well,
can kind of make up for the loss on the Game
I
Pass.
think across the board here we have. You get your high-priced PC games, you get your high-priced console games, you get your budgets on both, and you get sales on various stores.
I want to make another point.
Okay.
Xbox and PlayStation, or should I say Sony,
Yeah.
tend to keep their game prices at the same price no matter how long they've been on the store.
On the store, no, stores I disagree with.
Steam.
Because
Online stores.
Online stores, the PlayStation Store and the Microsoft Store for buying games on your respective consoles are expensive.
Steam, however, tends to drop their prices after a while. Arc is a big one. Arc on a console will still nick you 40 quid
On the store.
on the store.
There are
whereas
other places to get it
on
than just the store.
Steam, it's 17.
But don't particularly like name drop them, but places like CD Keys, always great place to get.
Always good
And you
places.
can get them for consoles as well. It's not just PC.
They're both.
Yeah,
A lot of the
Switch.
time, they have it for every single console available at that moment.
and I've bought games on CD Keys that are 50% cheaper than they are on the store.
I've bought games that are 90% cheaper.
So I'm going to skip the next question because we put, well, it says why do you think PC is better than consoles? We've kind of really touched on that with the whole incremental upgrades. You don't lose everything. So okay, so we'll move to the next question then. How does console backward compatibility compare to PC gaming? Now, we spoke about this when we were out the other week,
Yes, we did.
and console backward compatibility since the days of like the PS2, where they're physical. When they moved to like physical media, and you could just put your PlayStation 1 disc in a PlayStation 2 and play it. Same with Xbox. That was a huge thing.
It's
It,
iffy.
it kind of stopped the whole, I've bought a new console, I can't play my old things. Game Boys, etc., DSs, they all went that way. I mean, Microsoft are miles ahead of anyone else for backward compatibility.
They are great.
You
with
can
it.
play original Xbox games, some of them, on an Xbox Series X. There's like 4 generations.
That's only because they have licensing issues.
Yeah. So
They would have,
but they didn't have to.
They would literally have every single one if they could. But my point still stands on this.
Okay, how does that translate to PC?
It's iffy
What iffy on what?
on the console
Why?
because if you've got a physical disc,
Yeah.
when did the 360 come out?
2006.
Right, that's 19 years ago. If you've got a disc that isn't scratched to buggery, good luck. You're going to be well off. But if not, you are done for. That disc is
That's
done.
not entirely true because Microsoft don't do backward compatibility in the same way that everyone else does. I've done original Xbox games on a Series X. I've done 360 games on a Series X. You physically just have to have the disc in there. It doesn't read anything off the disc.
Yes, but
Once you
needs
put
to
it in,
know
it goes.
it's there.
It knows it's there.
If
So
it's-
unless it's absolutely run over by a truck.
If it's broken, it's broken. If it
But-
wouldn't run on a 360, it won't run on an Xbox One. And same way
no,
through.
No.
It's iffy.
You put it in an Xbox Series X and it goes, hello, I know what this game is. I need to download it from the store. It uses nothing off the disc at all.
If it
Picks it up. Okay, so
That's
in the
my
extreme
point.
case that if somebody's skated across it.
Whereas Steam, you don't have to put anything in. It's on there.
It's not just Steam though.
It's
You've
not
got
just
all your
Steam.
emulators. You can do all that on a PC.
But if you wanted to just get the game properly,
No, we're not talking about emulators. That's a
No.
whole different kettle
That's a
of
whole
fish.
different.
We're
okay.
talking about buying a game on your PC. For argument's sake, Microsoft are very good at backward compatibility.
they are good. I will give them
Yeah.
that.
Sony, less so.
It's only
It's
stopped
not
at the
bad.
3.
The T could play 1 games. Early versions of the PS3 could play 3, 2, and 1, and then they stopped it and you could play 1. The
Because-
4 cut everything out altogether.
Because the machine couldn't handle it. That's
The
why.
5 can play 4 games, and they do in some way do what Microsoft do because they got PS1, 2, 3 games, 4 games on the store that you can play. That's not really backward compatibility. That's rebuying them.
Yep. They're just Sony cannot compete with
Nintendo.
Microsoft's ability to do that.
Nintendo have always, I say always,
Not really.
the Wii could play GameCube games, the Wii U could play Wii games, 3DS could play DS games, the original DS could play Game Boy Advance games, Game Boy Colors can play Game Boy game. They always brought in that. The Switch 2, a little less so. I mean, the Switch...
From the lower generation, the one just prior.
The Switch was a bit different kettle of fish. They shut off everything. No backward compatibility on the Switch.
Which means all your games that you have put hours and hours into...
Yep. And in true Nintendo style, we're going to re-release them on the Switch and make you pay for it. That's great. Switch 2 a little different. It is backward compatible with the Switch. It's kind of pseudo hardware, software emulation. And it's not as great as it makes out. I've looked on the eShop for Switch games for my Switch, and it will clearly say not backwards compatible with the Switch 2. So it's half there and half not.
At least they tell you.
Now this is what I was talking to you about. Very old games.
How very old are you talking?
I'm talking Windows 95, 98 compatible games. They do not run on Windows 10 without some kind of patch, upgrade. I'm not talking about places like GOG who...
They'll just patch it.
Actively just go, here's a game, it works.
They'll just patch it before they sell it.
They don't always. And you do. There is a lot of... I mean, I'm quite big into the whole game preservation scene, which happens a lot in consoles. They move along, they shut stores down, games get lost forever. But it still happens with Windows. It still happens with PC gaming. There are games that are 20, 30 years old that will not run, not because they're not capable, but because the operating system has changed so much that it won't physically work.
If you buy a game on Steam that doesn't work...
I'm not talking about Steam.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about buying a game, going into a shop and seeing a copy of Duke Nukem 2, which was released in 1992, and slapping that in your Windows 11 machine. It ain't going to work.
It'll spit it
I
back
don't-
out at you.
You
buy
don't.
physical discs for my PC. Rarely anyone does. They just use the Steam store because it's easier, simpler, and right there
I
at your
do
fingertips.
have physical discs for certain games.
And do they all run?
I do not know.
Right.
There's a problem.
There are games that are 30 years old
I bought them as shelf pieces.
for Windows that you cannot run these days. I mean, there's probably versions of them out there that you can do. I mean, there probably has been patched and whatnot, but that's you'd have to rebuy that for a start.
But there's Xbox games that don't run either.
Same
with
yes,
Sony.
there is, yeah.
And there's a lot more with Sony than there is Xbox, I will put that out.
Yes, there was.
So
PlayStation 2 had over 10,000 games. None of the new consoles actually play PlayStation 2 games. So that's...
they're gone.
Unless they repackage and rebadge them, patch
And
them or whatever,
sold them again.
and sell them again, then yes. So backwards compatibility is a bit iffy on both sides, depending on how you look at it.
Depends how old the game is. If you're
Yes.
looking at a game that you could buy on the 360, you can then get it on Steam
Yeah, or the Xbox store.
or the Xbox store, and you've got it there.
So there are some issues with backward compatibility on both sides. Maybe it's because I tend to play a lot older games than you lot do. If I was to have a PC sitting here, I can guarantee you some of my games would not work. But like you say, with a console, you're up to the mercy of the company to say, yes, we'll allow you to play your old games. Or if you're good old Nintendo, they'll just resell them to you again, over and over again.
For more and more money.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question is, could handheld gaming devices like the MSI Claw, ROG Ally, Lenovo Legion Go bridge PC and console gaming?
Steam Deck.
I'm not touching on the Steam Deck because that's the next question. Because what devices I just mentioned are all Windows based.
Well,
So-
I believe the ROG Ally.
This is the Ally that currently runs Windows, not
Not
the
the new
future ROG Ally X and Ally XS.
I think they are a good bridge. They are relatively pricey, but if you want to get into...
Do they not detract from what you just said earlier, though?
What?
It's a console.
It's a
It's
console
got buttons
with...
with sticks, a bit like the Switch, etc.
Yes, but
And you were saying, I like to play my PC because I've got
It won't
26
be able to play
buttons.
certain games.
Right. So
I can promise you now, the ROG Ally cannot play certain games. I will give them the fact that they will have touchscreen. So
Okay.
they can just physically move things, which alleviates some of the issue.
it does. I found that when I was playing things like Terraria on my Vita, the buttons are limited, yes, and you can use just the buttons to scroll through menus and whatnot, but the touchscreen is great. So you think they're a good idea, these handheld?
I do think, personally, a handheld device that can play both PC and console games, whilst being versatile, it is also then handheld.
Yes, which is more portability.
But the drawback to that is a lot of the games that you're going to try to play are very, very battery taxing.
Well, that's a big thing for portable gaming at the minute.
Also just generally quite heavy to run.
We've gone from consoles that can handle 30 hours of
Even
gameplay to these massive beasts that can only push about 4 hours.
even if they can handle those games perfectly fine, they're still going to be taxed to buggery.
Yeah.
Because it's using the battery to use the good.
It's some of the reason Nintendo went lower spec with the Switch and the Switch 2, because it alleviates the battery. I can push 6-7 hours out of it.
Yes, but
some of
you
these
play a lot of older games.
Well, I don't. I play a lot of newer games on my Switch.
But
But some of these big things like the ROG Ally, they can only push 2 hours.
2 hours?
That's not really a lengthy gaming session.
Very big machines.
They are big machines, and battery technology has not kept up.
No, it hasn't. I
No.
will agree with that point. Battery tech needs to get.
We are pushing
way more
specs, and
advanced.
batteries have not kept up. So the next question kind of ties in with this, and you were then talking about Steam. So Valve have had moderate success with the Steam platform on Windows, Mac and Linux as well. Their dedicated handheld Steam Deck, it sold about 14-15 million at last count. They did have some very ill-fated Steam machines, which I can see them coming back in the future now that Steam has gotten more popular. And PC gaming has always been predominantly Windows. Mac users have always been the butt of, oh, you can't play that on a Mac. It's gotten better in recent years. It's the same with Linux. I mean, I think Steam, because Steam and the SteamOS is Linux-based, they bought the Proton compatibility layer, which allows you to play Windows games, technically, on your Steam Deck, which is a Linux device.
And oh boy, does it work, by the way.
So could Valve and its Steam platform be a threat to Microsoft and gaming as we know it? I mean, you
Not really.
well, with every question we've asked, you keep going in Steam. So
Yeah.
Steam is a huge thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say
It's not a threat.
Do you do anything else than game on your PC?
No.
So
It's not a threat, though.
it could be.
It's not.
If Valve were going to go down the route of bringing out these Steam machines, which are, there's no Windows on it, they don't do anything else. It's like a Steam Deck on a PC.
Yeah.
That could, I mean,
But the Steam machine used both controller and keyboard.
yeah.
They gave you the option between the two.
So if they
I
were to
was tempted
bring
to
them
buy
out
one.
as decent machines, it could negate a lot of people going out and buying a Windows machine.
Can then bring that back to a further point that I previously touched on. It won't be upgradable. So once the
Why would a Steam machine not be upgradable?
well,
that's how they're built.
that's how they'd be built. It'd be built like a console.
Depends, doesn't it?
How was the
yeah, but then
first
that's just a
Steam
PC.
machine- How was the first Steam machine made?
Then
It was just
It was a box.
a
Yeah.
PC
Yeah.
in a box that was just
bog standard. You're done.
Okay, so if it was more,
What, upgradable?
yeah.
You then just bought a PC. It's not a Steam machine. It's a PC. That's not a question.
So it's not a threat.
No, because they've
I wouldn't say
literally
it's,
just
I wouldn't
built a
say it's a
PC.
threat. It's a good runner, but not a threat necessarily,
But it's
unless
not-
they figure something
It's
out.
not
that-
necessarily a good runner if you need a Windows machine to run Steam, which you use at the minute.
Yeah, but if you take into consideration if it's then upgradable, you're going to then be going into the world of PCs and that sort of stuff because it's going to be using those parts because that is what they know how to use and what they know operating wise. So it will literally just be a PC in a box. And if
Would you go for that?
No, if they don't let you upgrade it, especially not.
If you had an upgradable PC in a box that didn't have Windows on it, just had Steam on it?
No.
Why?
Just play
Because you've then
you've
then just been locked into Steam. There
So
is
you
many other services
Right.
that you can use. You've then got Steam, you've got Epic Games, you've got
EA Play.
Xbox, EA Play, you've got all of these.
You've got these other systems like we were talking about earlier, GOG.
You
Yeah.
can't do any of them. And then if you did need to use this PC in a box as a work PC for any reason, you're then done in because you can't.
Because you've just got a
You've
glorified console.
you've
sitting
literally just got a console. You've got a PC console mix, which gets rid of the good parts for PC and the good parts of console.
Right.
Because you've got rid of the fact that you don't have to upgrade a console, and you've got rid of the fact that you can't then work on your PC. So you've just made a mash that just doesn't work.
Yeah, that makes sense. The Steam Deck is different. It's portable.
The Steam
It's
Deck-
got an edge to it. I think the
You
Steam
bought
Deck.
a Steam Deck for Steam.
The Steam Deck's biggest seller is it's portable.
It's portable and it works very well. I own one, and this touches on another point I said earlier.
So it kind of links back into buying an MSI
Yeah.
Core, or it's that portability function. So to move to the final question, then, do you ever see yourselves returning to console gaming?
Absolutely not.
I mean, you've got
I'm
your,
on the fence.
What is wrong
you've got a
with you?
Switch that you don't use
Nothing's
very
wrong
often.
with me. I use my Switch for certain
For
games.
certain Nintendo games, because you
Nintendo
can't get them
games,
anywhere
things
else.
like-
Here.
Breath of the Wild.
It's not worth going back to console.
You have got a Steam Deck, which is not a console.
It's not a console. It's a PC in my hand that's movable.
Right,
It's
so
like having a laptop that's built just for gaming.
you won't go back to
I will
Console
not
gaming.
touch a console.
you.
I don't like it.
You 99% of the time do PC
Yeah.
gaming, but there is the odd.
I am on the fence.
You
If
wouldn't
I-
switch back, is what I'm
I
saying.
wouldn't. If I had the choice of PC or console,
PC.
and there is no line in between, PC.
Like genuinely, I wouldn't. I
But if
rarely
I had
even
the
touch a
option
controller.
to, I mean, I do now. I have my Switch. I've still got my PlayStation
Four.
4
PS4.
Yeah. Yeah,
and my PC and my GameCube. But we'll.
if you were given a choice between the two,
PC. 100%.
I can't make.
It's such an easy
It is.
decision.
It would have to be the PC though.
I only play on my Switch. I'm not really that bothered if I can't get a certain game that you're playing. Right. Well, I think we've exhausted that. We've looked at some good old questions there. You more are firmly
I'm
in the PC.
Rarely touch a console at this point.
You don't really either, just on the odd occasion, I suppose. And I do the odd bit of gaming on my PC, but my PC is a Linux PC, so I can get Steam on it. You can get lots of other things, but I do mainly use it for emulation. And my main gaming is still done on a console. And despite the negative advances that consoles have made, updates, downloads, etc., I still prefer to grab my Switch and play it rather than sitting at a PC or a laptop to play games. But it's been an interesting discussion, and it kind of, yes, it went the way I thought it was going to do. So you can go off and play your PC. You can go off and play your PC, maybe pick your Switch up. And I'm going to go off and, sort this video out and then maybe play my Switch. So thank you for that lengthy discussion. It brought up some very interesting points, and I kind of see where you're coming from. I think in some ways consoles and
They've sort of
PCs
leveled out.
have leveled out a bit. Consoles have got more complicated, PCs have got easier. Consoles have got more expensive, PCs have dropped. Well, there you go. I hope you all enjoyed this discussion. Let me know what you think. Are you a PC gamer? Are you a console gamer? Did you disagree with something that was said in this video? If so, drop a comment and like, subscribe.
Enjoy.
Yay!